I first noticed my tremors when I was 9 years old. I had a piano solo, and it became very difficult to play because I started shaking, and everyone just chalked it up to I was just nervous. But then I began to notice when I would take exams, I would have trouble writing. And this progressed through the years and became very bad the last, I want to say, 10 years, to the point I could no longer write my name. So I was diagnosed with an essential tremor, and it was at the beginning controlled with medication, but essential tremors progress, and it continually got worse. And we kept trying to up the medications, and until the point I couldn't up them any further.
I met Virginia for the first time when she came to get an evaluation for her tremors. She apparently had almost a lifelong battle with what we call essential tremor, which is a fancy way of describing tremors that do not necessarily have a cause.
I have been an executive assistant in the C-suite for many years, and it became quite challenging because of the fact I could not write, and I was having difficulty typing. I couldn't take messages. I was on a new job, and I felt that they were being very kind in they gave me everything I needed to do my job. That part, I was very thankful, but I wanted to do better.
We knew that there was no other option. And as a result, we talked to her about a new technology that was available that could help with her tremors. MRI guided focus ultrasound is a relatively new technology that it uses the energy of ultrasound, and through penetrating the skin and skull without any kind of opening, so there's no incision and there's no anesthesia involved. This is done while a patient lays inside the MRI machine, and we run the MRI machine live, so we can continuously see that specific area of the brain. And as a neurosurgeon, I can direct where in the brain the focus ultrasound energy can be targeted or directed. And in particular for essential tremor, we go after the tremor network.
Learned about the program from my neurologist at another hospital. She knew how much it meant to me to have this procedure. We had been watching it together for years, waiting for it to come to the Chicagoland area. And as soon as it did, I'll never forget the phone call in June where she called me up and said, "Virginia, guess what? It's here."
Patient comes in, gets the treatment, and literally gets up and leaves. There's minimal to no recovery period from a surgical standpoint needed.
I decided to have the procedure because I saw my future, and I wondered, how am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to eat? How am I going to drink? I looked into the special equipment and physical therapy that you can do, but I knew how bad my tremor was, and I knew none of that would help with as bad as my tremor was.
Under a year ago, we treated our first patient in March of 2020, and we are currently the only center in the surrounding states and region that offers this treatment for patients. To have had very good results, and I'm proud to say we have 40 plus patients who are very, very happy with their outcome.
And they were shaving my head. I was told I had movie star quality, perfectly round head. So that put me at ease right there. I thought, this is going to be okay.
And it is such a big part of everyone's identity, particularly female patients. With that said, consider the 6 months it takes for the hair to grow back and weigh that against the years and years of benefit. We don't fully understand the exact mechanism that causes essential tremor. However, we do know that there is a certain area of the brain that is overacting. It's really revving at a higher voltage than it needs to be, and it causes tremors. And so we have known for decades that if this area is shut down ablated or lesioned, tremors subside. It doesn't seem to affect cognition, memory, personality, emotions, language, vision. So all the other essential functions are somewhere else.
Within a week, I was back at work. I'm a runner, so I was very concerned about how long will it be till I'm back physically active. By the end of the week, I had the procedure on a Tuesday. By Friday, I was out walking 3 miles, and I found that to be amazing. My husband will say to me, "Let's see the hand," and I do this. Sorry, makes me a little emotional. And then he'll say, "Was it worth it?" And it's yes, it's worth it.
One of the things that sets Rush apart and is also my personal philosophy is we treat patients like a member of our own family. So if somebody comes in, what the question that goes through my head is, if this person was my brother or sister or parent, what would I do?
The care I received here was phenomenal. From my very first appointment to meeting Dr. Sani, the team that was there for my procedure, they were there the entire time. They held my hand while my head was shaved. They kept my husband informed, who was sitting in the waiting room. He said he was having updates every couple of minutes. And then they pull you out and they hold a piece of paper in front of you and they say, "Sign your name." And I did, and it was perfect. I had shortened my signature to V. Velez because I could no longer write Virginia. But believe me, this time, Virginia Velez is the way I sign. Then it was over. And it was just amazing that they could do something so drastically that changes your life so drastically, and you get up and walk out.